Let's be honest, photographing strangers can be really scary. But what if I told you that it's one of the fastest ways for you to improve your photography and to build your confidence as well as your human connection with others? Stick around because I'm sharing my journey in a number of places, but specifically through some states in the Northeast of the United States. And I'm going to show you how to capture raw, authentic moments and how to interact with people that you never met before. The first time that I photographed strangers, when I went out to do street photography years ago, I was really scared. I didn't want to offend anyone. I didn't want to invade their space. But something told me to try, and I just pushed myself and said, I've got to jump into the water and have the courage to do it. And what happened next completely changed my way with strangers, with people that I never met before. And that's one of the reasons I photograph strangers. I love people. I love the different human beings that you meet in different cities, in different countries, or even in your own neighborhood, people you might have never met before. I photographed many people in my life. Families for family portraits and family events, my own family, children, brides, dancers, actors. And most of the time, you're there to photograph them. But some of the most meaningful portraits that I've taken and the meaningful moments that I've had were of people that I didn't know, complete strangers. There could be someone waiting at the bus stop or a group of people waiting at a bus stop, people carrying groceries on the sidewalk or in the street, someone sipping coffee or tea in a cafe. When I photograph strangers, I'm not trying to take something from them. I'm sort of trying to be with them and get to know them, even if we don't speak to one another. One of the advantages of street photography is that I slow down. I become more open. I'm not rushing. Sometimes I stay in one spot that's an interesting spot or it has beautiful light, and I watch as interesting people go by, and I have myself ready with the focus and all the settings ready for that situation. People often ask me, do I have to ask permission to take a photograph? There are cameras all over the world in most major cities, and for the most part, it's okay not to ask permission. And you also would like to catch them in the action or in the activity that they're doing in an authentic, real way. So I usually do not ask permission. But if I see that someone's looking at me or there may be a little apprehensive, I won't start talking with them then to ask permission. I'll just use body language or eye contact and see if, I'll point to my camera, and usually they will sometimes pose or they'll go back to what they were naturally doing, and then I can get the interesting shots that I'd like. Of course, there are times where we talk and they'll pose, and that's fine also. But the key is to stay respectful, and if you see that someone really does not want their photo taken, then just walk on and move to the next street or to the next scene that could be very interesting. The key is to remember these are people. They are not subjects. But I do find that the camera gives me a way to connect with people, sometimes in a way that I might not have been able to otherwise. For example, I might not strike up a conversation with somebody on the street, but if I have the camera and I'm out to photograph and do street photography, that's something many people are familiar with, and it enables you to strike up a conversation, especially if you say that I'm here to photograph interesting people, and you don't rush into photographing right away. Maybe even get to know them and then let them go back to what they were doing. For me, the most interesting part of it is humanity. Not to sound so trite, but there are so many different kinds of people, and yet in many different places in the world, there are still so many universal similarities between people. What I've learned is you don't have to go very far to see beauty. Whenever I go out to photograph in the cities in the area that I live, there's always new people, strangers, and activities and the hustle and bustle of the city and the markets. As far as street photography in other countries, you don't even have to speak the language in order to connect with somebody. You just have to look. And there is the language of the heart and the soul that everybody speaks. In some of these clips, you'll see I met people on this trip up the eastern coast in the United States, and I wanted to talk with them, and I videoed them and I interviewed them, and then I photographed them, sometimes before I spoke with them, but quite often after. And they felt comfortable and I felt comfortable. There are many photographs in my collection that are from Israel, where I live, and many countries across the world. Certain neighborhoods, you can say, whoa, I might not feel comfortable here. And I find that in most places, if you just take a deep breath and say, I'm just going to be myself, you will find that people will be very receptive to that. Go out tomorrow, take one photo of someone that you don't know. Have compassion, have intention, do it with your heart. And I promise you will see life differently and you'll enjoy the beauty of people. If you enjoyed this, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel. We do all kinds of meaningful photography, tips, tutorials, stories, a lot of storytelling and history of great photographers as well. I'd love for you to join me on this journey.